Good evening, welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Hello, here are tonight's main stories.
The stage is set.
Yes, the countdown is on to the Rob Burrow Leeds Marathon. Thousands of runners will be taken to the streets of Leeds this weekend to honour the rugby league legend and to join the fight against motor neurone disease.
The outpouring of love and support for Rob has really touched us as a family, and we're so grateful.
And whether you're a spectator or taking part in that marathon this weekend, I'll have the full forecast for the whole region a little later on.
Also tonight, more trouble on the tracks.
Very few trains out of here tonight. Passengers are forced to find another way to travel during a two-day walkout.
Sourdough or sour foe? Why bakers are rising up over a bread that's proving controversial. And
Eurovision fans cross the Pennines, bound for the biggest live music event on the planet. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Last-minute preparations are underway for one of the region's biggest mass participation sporting events, which is set to raise a fortune for charities and help in the fight against motor neurone disease.
the Rob Burrow Marathon and Half Marathon takes place in Leeds on Sunday, with more than 15,000 runners signed up to take part across both events.
It will honour the Leeds Rhinos rugby legend who was diagnosed with MND in 2019. But even before a step has been run, supporters have helped to raise more than £1 million to combat the condition. John Hale is at Headingley for us tonight. Good evening, John. I guess it's all quiet there now.
It is obviously, of course, Lara, but this will be the scene of triumph and blood and sweat and probably tears as well on Sunday when, as you say, those thousands of runners, well, they'll be streaming through what is the finishing line, which has been set up here on the turf at Headingley. They'll be doing so to honour members of their own family, but also to honour Rob Burrow, a rugby league legend who earned the adulation when he was in his pomp playing here at Headingley. And since that diagnosis in 2019 of MND, such a cruel disease, well, he's really captured the hearts of people inside the game and outside as well. The courage he's shown in his personal fight, but also in his determination to try and raise awareness and raise funds. And, you know, he'll be taking part as well. He'll be pushed in a specially designed wheelchair by his friend and former teammate, Kevin Sinfield. The stage is set, the finish line in place. Come Sunday, this sight will be a blessed relief for the runners.
Lovely.
They'll have been inspired by this man, Rob Burrow, today at Headingley for a photo call curtain raiser for the big event. And for Rob and his wife Lindsay, the response of the public has been an inspiration itself.
We've been overwhelmed by the support, and I think having this event and having that mass participation, people, the outpouring of love and support for Rob has really touched us as a family, and we're so grateful, to the city of Leeds and to everybody that's supported us.
Many of Rob Burrow's greatest tries were scored here, his home ground. But 4 years ago, he was diagnosed with motor neurone disease. Since then, he, his family, friends and former teammates, led by Kevin Sinfield, have embarked on an extraordinary fundraising and awareness-raising campaign. Sinfield will, this weekend, be running, supporting his friend in his wheelchair around the course.
I want people to understand why this marathon was set up, which was to celebrate friendship, to celebrate those who need our help. And that is the MND community, that's Rob, but that's right across society, across all our communities. There are so many worthy causes out there. People need our help, and it gives 12,500 people who run the marathon on Sunday a chance to be able to send a message to people that we're willing to put our bodies through a little bit to show people how much we care.
One tangible benefit will be the creation of a new MND centre in Leeds bearing Rob Burrow's name. Marathon runners have already raised almost £250,000 for the project.
People in Leeds, and not just Leeds, people all over the country have actually really got behind me with this, and I think this has really been a positive. It's a wave of optimism.
The hope is one day when families, maybe in that situation where they're told they have M&D, the hope is that on the end of that we'll have treatments, we've got effective, we can cure this. That's, ultimately the aim.
The signs are all there. For many on Sunday, the aim may be simply to finish, but they'll have been part of a grassroots event to honour one man's courage and his determination to rid the world of this cruel disease. John Hill, ITV News, Leeds.
Well, we'll head back to John shortly when he'll be meeting a man who's travelled further than anyone to run for Rob.
And if you'll be joining them on the route or planning to cheer on anyone who is this Sunday, then head over to our website where you can find plenty of information about what to expect, details of road closures and catch up with some of the inspirational stories we've been bringing you this week. It's all at the usual address.
Well, as the thousands of runners get ready, so too are the thousands more expected to turn out to support them on Sunday. Perhaps you're one of them. Helen Steele's been to see how preparations are shaping up.
Well, here in Otley, they're preparing to take centre stage for the inaugural Robborough Marathon. On Sunday, thousands of runners will come down this road, having done most of the hard work already, being 17 miles in. But there's plenty of hard work going on in the background too. Students at Carr Manor School in Leeds are just some of the young people helping out at water stations.
Probably it would be a bit nervous, but at the same time, it would be a sense of community at the same time, because you're giving water and probably they'll be grateful at the same time because we're going up a long hill.
Others will be helping by providing moral support. The banners are out at St John the Baptist Church in Adel,
the children have done so well, haven't they?
Where they'll be cancelling Sunday service for the first time in decades.
Everybody is so taken up with what Rob Burrows has done and for motor neurone disease. We actually lost 2 or 3 years ago one of our church wardens through that. So we think it's particularly important that we're supporting the community. We're encouraging lots of our members to come here and cheer the runners on. We've got 3 of our congregation running.
But it's not just about what people are doing to help, it's also about what the marathon is doing for the community. At one running shop here in Otley, they've seen a huge increase in footfall.
Initially, like any other event, it's just another marathon coming up, but I think it's actually grown, and I think a lot of people have, because of the Rob Burrows connection and everything, I think it's all it's gone nuts, really. Every other person's doing it.
And if runners and spectators have worked up an appetite after that, many cafes are keeping their doors open longer, and they're making sure they're getting well stocked up.
Yeah, we'll definitely get extra tables out. We'll try and spill over, I think, onto the other forecourts because it's all day, the marathon and the half marathon. So, yeah, I'm sure it'll be really busy. We're making extra cakes.
There we go. Extra stock, extra staff, sausages, spam, they're all food of champions. I think it's protein. We're going it's protein. Yeah.
Obviously, that'll have to wait until after the finish line. And once runners have passed through Otley, they still have the small matter of a rather large hill back to Leeds. Helen Steele, ITV News in Otley.
Well, let's head back now to John, who's live at Headingley. And John, you were the man who's travelled a heck of a long way to lend his support this weekend.
You know, people have travelled from all over, but actually all over the world, because with us is Luke Burgess, former Rhinos player and moved to Australia. Now actually an Australian citizen, is that right, Luke?
Yeah, that's correct.
Do we say congratulations? I'm not sure.
I think so, yeah. I think it was a very special day for me. I've copped a lot of stick for becoming an Australian citizen from all my English friends.
We'll forgive you. But you've come back especially for this event, and you've got your own personal reason as well, haven't you?
I do, yeah. I lost my father to motor neurone disease back in 2007. Back then there wasn't as much awareness around the disease as there is now, just pretty much due to what Kev and Rob have done. So it was always something that I wanted to try and get back here for when it was arranged. So it's great to be back here and really looking forward to Sunday.
You've seen Rob and Kevin today. How are you feeling personally ahead of Sunday? And what do you want to do for them? Do you want to honour them in a way?
Well, I guess, yeah, I want to try and break the 4-hour mark. That would be a good achievement. But just to be here and helping out and raising more awareness for the MND, and it's just great to see Rob. I've not seen Rob for so long. It was great to see some ex-teammates of mine today too. So it's good to be back in England. I love coming back here, so I'm really looking forward to the day.
Well, I'm sorry we couldn't provide Australian weather. Luke, thanks for joining us. I wish you well.
Thank you.
We hope you get under 4 hours. A lot of people will be hoping to get under 4 hours, but I think the main thing is they will be streaming through over there and they'll be just satisfied with finishing.
I would say just completing it, actually, John. That would be great.
That's a triumph in itself, isn't it? John Hill live at Headingley. Thank you. Now, still to come on calendar.
I'm really looking forward to participating in the marathon and joining you all.
We'll bring you Rob's message for everyone taking part this weekend and some of your good luck messages too. Plus,
whatever your plans this weekend, will the weather forecast have the winning formula? I'll have all the detail a little later on. And
let's take a deep breath, everyone.
The excitement's building, but the wait is almost over for the Eurovision fans planning a party on the Mersey tomorrow. Runners and spectators travelling from all over the country for the marathon have had to find other ways of getting to the venue because of rail strikes today and tomorrow.
Katie Oscroft is at Leeds Station, which would have been thronging with people arriving for the weekend. But what's it like there this evening, Katie?
Well, Michael, it's really quiet here. It should be rush hour, but it actually resembles a car park for trains at the moment. There've been no northern services, no Transpennine trains, and a very limited service from LNER. And it's not just marathon runners who've been affected. Some people crossing the Pennines to Liverpool for Eurovision have either abandoned their plans or gone by road. And there's a fleet of coaches waiting to take Chesterfield fans to Wembley for the National League playoff final tomorrow.
So which unions are involved in this strike and what have they had to say today?
Well, today it's the train drivers union, ASLEF, who've walked out. Now, this dispute's over pay. They want a cost of living increase, but the government is accusing them of deliberately targeting major events this weekend.
There's not a day in this country where something doesn't happen, a major event. You know, unfortunately, we're in the middle of a dispute and the government, instead of sitting there pointing the finger and saying about the dates we've picked, why don't they get round the table and make us a serious offer would be the message that I would send.
I think the timing is deliberate. I think that there's been the maximum amount of damage has been the intention. The rail union leaders may say they weren't aware, but if that was the case, they had plenty of time once they were aware to change the date.
Well, tomorrow it will be the turn of the RMT union to go on strike, and it will be a similar picture to today. What few services there are will start late and they will also finish very early. And there is no real sign of an end to this long-running dispute.
So further disruption this weekend because of the train strikes. Katie Oscroft live at Leeds Station. Thank you.
OK, time for some sport now and a Rovers return at Doncaster.
Zero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Well, Chris is with us now. You started the week telling us about the Rovers manager being sacked. We bookend the week with his replacement.
Well, Michael, that is what we would call the perfect narrative arc, wouldn't we? Yes. Grant McCann is back in the dugout at Doncaster, replacing Danny Schofield, who was sacked on Tuesday. Now, McCann managed Rovers for a solitary season, leading them to the League One playoffs in 2019 before leaving to take charge at Hull. He returns after what's been a difficult season for Rovers. They ended it 18th in League Two, their worst finish since promotion back to the league 20 years ago.
So he's going to have a big job on there, isn't he, Chris? The season's over for Doncaster, but not so for some of our teams.
No, this is what it is. It's crunch time now for a lot of our teams. That's why it's the playoffs, the nerve-shredding, heart-pounding, nail-biting drama. And first up tonight is Sheffield Wednesday, who are at Peterborough for the first leg of their League One semi. Arif Ahmed is there for us, and earlier on sent us this report.
Yes, welcome to London Road ahead of the League One playoff semi-finals between Peterborough United and Sheffield Wednesday in the first leg. Now the Owls come into this game as heavy favourites. They finished the regular season in 3rd place, finishing with 96 points, and that normally gets you automatic promotion. They actually went half the season unbeaten, but a dip in form means they finished in 3rd place, and manager Darren Moore says all of that goes out the window now and they'll have to focus on this two-legged game with Peterborough.
The season was over 46 games. You see the results, what's happened over the 46 games. You see all the stats, the figures, that's gone, it's finished. We readdress it now and we focus into the playoffs. We've pushed over 46 games to where we've got to. Now we need to continue that momentum.
Now Sheffield Wednesday will be hoping to get a positive result here that they can take back to Hillsborough next weekend in front of a packed crowd. They'll hope to get the job done and book their place in the League One playoff final.
Arif Ahmed down at Peterborough for us tonight. Now, I don't want to put a jinx on it, but we could have an all-South Yorkshire derby at Wembley in a couple of weeks. That's because the other League One semi-final sees Barnsley take on Bolton with the first leg in Lancashire tomorrow afternoon. Michael Duff has enjoyed a good first season as manager of the Tykes, but knows it'll count for nothing if they fall at the first playoff hurdle.
I'm sure the supporters are looking forward to it. We've been looking forward to it for a long time. And the players aren't daft. You know, these playoff campaigns don't come around every week or every year, sorry. So as long as they know they're going to have to be at it.
Well, Bradford are also in playoff action this weekend. They host Carlisle in their League Two semi-final first leg. Captain Richie Smallwood has been one of their star men this season, and he hopes the home crowd can spur them on against a team they're yet to beat this season.
The lads are fully aware how big a game it is. Needs no dressing up really. There'll be massive support there. Probably a sellout again. And I think we owe them one as well, so should be in for a nice tasty game.
So all of those teams desperate to get to Wembley, Chris, but Chesterfield are already there tomorrow.
They are, yeah, and the fans might be as well, because it's the National League playoff final tomorrow. The chance for Chesterfield to get back in the Football League after a 5-year absence. It's been a fine season down at the Proac. They finished 3rd in the league and were only knocked out of the FA Cup at the 3rd round stage by Championship big boys West Brom. It promises to be an enthralling game against a Notts County side who were only pipped to automatic promotion by big spending Wrexham.
I think if we turn up and Notts County don't, I think we'll win, and vice versa. And if we both turn up and play our best football, what hell of a spectacle. But, you know, we're certainly going to give it our all to make this town bounce.
So those are all teams that could go up, Chris. Let's talk about Leeds, shall we?
Talk about killing the mood, Lara. Go on then, it doesn't look good for Leeds, does it? Now, this is the situation going into tomorrow's game against high-flying Newcastle. The Whites, second bottom of the Premier League, a couple of points from safety. New boss Sam Allardyce certainly laid it bare at yesterday's press conference.
When we come off the field on Saturday, we can't afford to lose. We must get something. The fear needs to drive them on. The fear of relegation, the fear of losing their Premier League status should make them hopefully fight.
Yeah, good luck to all our teams and all those running the marathon, of course, on Sunday.
Certainly. Chris, thank you very much. Now let's talk about the rising popularity of a loaf that's proving controversial among Yorkshire bread makers.
We're talking about sourdough, very trendy, but for many also rather expensive. Now, bakers in North Yorkshire are among those calling for new laws to protect their loaves from what they consider to be cheaper imitations.
In fact, they're so incensed by what they consider to be these inferior breads that they're branding them sour faux. James Webster reports.
When is sourdough bread not sourdough bread? According to traditional bakers, it shouldn't contain any commercial yeast, instead using just fermented flour and water to make it rise. That's how they make it here at the Bluebird Bakery in York.
The ingredients that we use are really important. So the basic ingredients are flour, salt, water. There's no additives, there's no list of additives like you might find in the supermarket. And yeah, I think it speaks for itself in the flavour.
Here at this bakery, I've been getting a hands-on demo of how to make sourdough.
And I'm going to grab the top and I'm going to roll it towards me and push down and back slightly.
It is a traditional method, which the Real Bread campaign wants new laws to protect. They're worried about the shops selling products as containing or made with sourdough when they also contain other additives.
People are coming in and saying, well, hang on, I can get something that's the same cheaper in a supermarket. And we want people to know that actually what you're getting is a fundamentally different product.
Without such protection, some independent bakeries say their prices are being undercut by products they feel are inferior.
It's very frustrating given the efforts we go to here to make proper, genuine sourdough. And it's hard, it's a hard environment, costs are high, we want to pay people a decent wage, and it's a long process.
Getting legal protection to put an end to so-called sour faux will mean agreeing what should and shouldn't be in the mixture.
Getting the different parties to agree to a working definition moving forward is the most challenging thing here, especially because the Real Bread campaign is facing a lot of opposition from very big players who have a lot of vested interest in making sure that that definition is broader than that is suggested by the Real Bread campaign.
But there is opposition from the government to defining the correct recipe of this dough too. It says it has no plans to introduce a legal definition of sourdough. Instead, it says the baking industry should agree a code of practice, but that could also prove hard to achieve. James Webster, ITV News.
Well, a busy old weekend ahead, so we don't want a half-baked weather forecast.
My mouth's watering now. I'm thinking about peanut butter on toast.
Yeah, well, just saying, I've got a Ukrainian loaf on the way tomorrow for my Eurovision party.
Nice.
But if anyone's doing any sort of like barbecues beforehand, it's not looking too bad. We do have a bit of an east-west split directly at the east, very much like we've had across all parts of the region today, struggling under the cloud amounts, but where the sun pops out, we're getting highs into the high teens. So if you are travelling to Liverpool for the event tomorrow, or if you're having an outdoor event during the course of the day, the emphasis for much of the weekend on dry conditions, just a little bit cooler and cloudier directly at the coast, but not spoiling things too much. And of course, we've got the marathon on Sunday. For the match that Chris was talking about in Bradford for the evening, we might just get this weather front approaching. But before that, any morning cloud should melt away for the runners first thing. It should be fairly decent with temperatures below the double figures, but into the afternoon, the sun's going to pop out and it is going to get quite warm for the second half of the day. And look, out towards the coast, much better for the second half of the weekend on Sunday. So whether you're running a marathon or you're outside just taking it all in tomorrow, the UV is going to be much higher. Now, to manage the UV or to forecast the UV, it's the three things: the height of the sun, the amount of cloud or particles or dust in the air that helps to filter it, or of course the ozone levels which help to absorb it. We've got a 6 tomorrow, and we never get more than 8 this time of year, or actually in our summer months we very rarely get to 8, which is just nudging on the very high. So 5 or 6 even for the next few days. Slap on the sun cream. I certainly will be doing, but whatever you're doing, have a lovely weekend.
Yes, just enjoy it.
Yeah,
fantastic.
for
Kerry,
sure.
full forecast at the end of the programme.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Now, there's never been a better chance for a whole generation of British Europop fans to see the world's biggest live music event in person, as this weekend the UK hosts Eurovision for the first time in a quarter of a century.
Yes, parties are being planned, pubs are clearing the decks. There will even be special live screenings in cinemas.
But of course, plenty more fans from our region will go west to experience the fun live in the arena in Liverpool. Mike Pearce has been catching up with them.
While Sam Ryder did his best for us last year, of course, we're holding the contest on behalf of Ukraine, who won. May Muller is our contestant, hoping for Eurovision glory.
They need to feel celebrated, and I think the fact that I think it's 3,000 tickets that have been given to Ukrainians that have had to flee their homes, so it's just going to make the evening that much more special.
A lot of our artists on stage are also from Ukraine, so I think there are 9 former Ukrainian Eurovision artists on stage across the 3 shows. So it's a real celebration of Ukrainian culture and also British culture as well, because we're making the shows together.
And if you come to Liverpool, you have to take a ferry across the Mersey, Eurovision style.
It is Liverpool as part of all the stops, the investment, the colours, everyone's coming together, it's marvellous.
the atmosphere, everyone around, parties everywhere, amazing.
What a job. They've made Ukraine so proud. From the airports to the stations, Eurovision everywhere. It's the best.
For Eurovision superfans like Emily from York, it's a dream come true.
Just like the togetherness of it all. So I started watching it with my dad when I was about 7. I wanted to watch something else, but my dad was like, no, we're watching this. I really didn't want to. And then I've been absolutely obsessed with it ever since. I think it's so special that we've had the honour of hosting it for Ukraine, because obviously Ukraine are going through some tough times now, and it's good that we can do that for them. And I like that we've made it not just about the UK. We've very much included Ukrainian hosts, Ukrainian designs, all of that, which is really nice.
One person who knows what it's like to take part is our 2000 contestant, Nikki French.
It was adrenaline and it was nerves and it was, I can't mess this up right now. You know, I've dreamt of this for so long. I'm not going to mess it up. It's going to be off the scale this year. And the UK is just so mad on Eurovision this year. It's wonderful.
Do you remember that one, Nikki French? Do you remember that?
No, actually, I can't remember that one.
Most ironic name for a Eurovision song ever. Don't play that song again. Says it all, doesn't it?
Better go to Kerry now with the weather.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, hello again. Thankfully, the weekend is almost upon us. It was indeed a little bit disappointing across many parts of the region today, especially with that low cloud first thing this morning. But thank you, as always, for still sharing the photos, weather photos, at itv.com. So this has been the scene so far today. That north to northeasterly flow dragging in quite a bit of moisture and cloud in from the east. And if anything, as we head through into this evening and overnight tonight, that cloud is just going to re-thicken. So some moisture in the air, some mist and fog possible, especially hugging the hills, the Pennines, the Dales and the North York Moors into the early hours. And therefore, with that cloud cover, nothing too chilly overnight tonight, and that northerly breeze still fairly keen out towards the coast. So nothing quite as dramatic overnight tonight as it was midweek. And there is Saturday sun times 5:08 and 8:58. So tomorrow morning, quite disappointing again, quite a lot of cloud around, some mist and murk, maybe some poor visibility, but we are hoping for a slightly improved story on today. So from the west, things will become a lot drier and brighter and warmer. Still struggling a little bit out towards the coastline, at least for the first half of the day, but don't let that catch you out. The UV is 5 or 6 Celsius. Best part of the day will be the evening. Overnight, it will be dry and clear to begin. As we head into Sunday, the best of any drier and brighter weather will be in the east, a lot warmer out towards the coast, and in the sunshine a 19 or 20 Celsius. Then this system coming through the latter part of Sunday into Monday, and then a quieter outlook over the coming few days.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go, mostly dry. Wear some sunscreen, have a lovely time. Oh yes, and also drink water as well. Good luck to everyone taking on the Rob Borough Marathon this weekend. What a day it promises to be.
Certainly does. If you are, this is the sight you'll be looking forward to seeing after a mere 26.2 miles, I'm sure. The finish line on the Headingley turf.
We'll have all the sights, the sounds and your stories on Monday night's programme.
But we'll end this evening with some of the people taking part from all of us here. Good night.
We both can't wait to get going, and it'll be a wonderful day, a tough day for everybody involved, but together we'll get through it. We'll raise some wonderful money for different charities, raise awareness for different charities, but we'll do it shoulder to shoulder and look after each other.
I would like to send a message to our 24 Sorby Bridge snails who are taking on the challenge and just wishing you all the best of luck. One foot in front of the other and you can do it. Good luck, guys.
I run alongside 3 of my friends from the rugby club. I'm really looking forward to be supporting them and supporting everybody that's going to be there on that day and running for such an amazing cause.
I'm doing this for Rob, I'm doing this for the whole M&D community, and I can't wait to get on the start line. Wish me luck.
Good luck to everybody on the Rob Burrows Marathon.
I can't thank you enough for your support, and I'm really looking
forward to participating in the marathon and joining you all alongside my mate Kev for the 26.2 mile challenge. This event for me is about friendship and community spirit, helping each other to achieve goals. I want to express a heartfelt thank you to Run for All, Leeds Rugby family and Clown, who have all worked tirelessly to make this event happen. Thank you so much. All that is left for me to say is best of luck. Enjoy the day and I look forward to seeing you cross the finish line.